Hello everyone and welcome to the weird, scary and horrible parts of humanity. Today we are looking at a truly tragic case that has made international news and is the third deadliest school shooting in the United States of America after the 2007 Virginia Tech shooting and the 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary shooting and the deadliest school shooting in Texas, the Robb Elementary School Shooting committed by Salvador Rolando Ramos. Uvalde, Texas, where Robb Elementary School is located, has a population of 15,217 people as of the 2020 census and is 80 miles or 130 kilometers west of San Antonio and 54 miles or 87 kilometers east of the Mexico-United States border. It is a Hispanic majority city. In 2022, Robb Elementary School had 600 students, with 81% of students from economically disadvantaged backgrounds and 90% of students were of Hispanic descent. Uvalde spent 40% of its municipal budget on its police department, with the UCISD Police Department, the school district governing Robb Elementary School, having multiple security measures in place at the time of the shooting, with 6 officers overseeing the police department responsible for security of the district's 8 schools. However, in line with all elementary schools in the United States of America, there were no security checks or metal detectors, unlike in middle schools or in high schools. Salvador Rolando Ramos was born on the 16th of May 2004 in Fargo, North Dakota. He was the son of Salvador Ramos, known as Chava, and Adriana Martinez. He had one older sister. There were some rumors on social media and amidst some conservative media outlets following the shooting that Ramos was an illegal immigrant, but this was complete horseshit. At a young age, he, his mother and sister moved to Uvalde. Until February 2022, he lived with his mother and sister. His high school girlfriend noted that she believed that Ramos had been sexually assaulted at an early age by one of his mother's boyfriends, but his mother did not believe him. For 4th grade, he attended Robb Elementary School with his classroom 111. He would later attend Uvalde High School. He seemed to do well throughout early elementary school, and his pre-K teacher described Ramos as a wonderful student who was always ready to learn and had a positive attitude. However, he had a terrible time throughout latter elementary, middle and high school and was often bullied primarily as a result of a stutter and a strong lisp, which led to relatives describing him as shy, quiet and reluctant to interact with others. He was also bullied for his short haircut and clothing. He frequently wore black clothes and wore the same clothing day after day. While in 4th grade at Robb Elementary School, a girl tied his shoelaces together, causing him to fall flat on his face. He had frequent fist fights with classmates, occasionally with boxing gloves that he carried around in school, and had few friends. Ramos started falling behind at high school but never received special education services, despite being identified as an at-risk student, and a request for Ramos in school records to gain speech therapy for his lisp and speech impediment never came to fruition. He had a long history of drug abuse, however it was never identified what drugs he was doing. While in high school he was depressed and lonely, and scaringly he told his girlfriend at the time that he would not live past 18, as he would either commit suicide or would not live long. This led Ramos to take a hell of a lot of time off school, with more than 100 absences a year by 2018, and he was eventually told that he would have to repeat the 12th grade. In mid-2021, the high school girlfriend of Ramos broke up with him, leading him to harass her and her friends. He decided to drop out of high school in August 2021 at the age of 17 and without a high school diploma, when it was announced that schools in Texas would reopen, with face-to-face learning recommencing following remote learning during the COVID-19 pandemic. Ramos had been scheduled to finish high school in 2022. After dropping out of high school, he initially worked at Whataburger, but he was fired after 1 month for threatening a female co-worker. He then started working at a local Wendy's, primarily working night shift, with the manager of the Wendy's stating that Ramos liked to keep to himself. Co-workers stated that he was occasionally rude to female colleagues and would send them inappropriate text messages and would threaten them by asking them, "Do you know who I am?" Ironically, his nickname at Wendy's was School Shooter because he wore black and had long hair. His mother described her son in an interview with ABC News as not a monster, but admitted that her son could be aggressive. He had no documented mental health issues and no criminal records. His father stated that at the time of the shooting he had a girlfriend who lived in San Antonio, Texas. However, who this girlfriend was never identified, and indeed details about her are unknown. However, the social media of Ramos revealed many disturbing traits. On French social media app Uvalde, he would livestream the abuse of cats, and openly confessed to abusing and killing cats on Uvalde. He also threatened to rape and kidnap girls while on Uvalde, and also threatened to commit a school shooting. His Uvalde account was reported, however it was not taken down by Uvalde. On Instagram in 2021, he posted pictures of automatic rifles that were on his wish list. Additionally, on his social media, he showed an interest in gore, shared images of suicide and beheadings, and also watched violent sex. Moreover, an analysis of his internet history by the Texas House Committee showed that he had become fascinated with school shootings and saw it as a means to foster personal notoriety and fame on social media. Privately, he wrote to his online friends that he had challenges connecting to others and that he did not connect to humans and struggled to feel empathy, noting that he was not human. In September 2021, he asked his older sister to buy him a gun, but she refused to buy the then 17-year-old Ramos a gun. In late 2021, he was fired from Wendy's for his disturbing behavior towards his colleagues. At the same time, he posted a video on social media driving around Uvalde late at night with a friend he met online, shooting at strangers with a BB gun and egging cars. However, his grandfather stated that he did not know how to drive and did not have a driver's license, although the video appeared to show that Ramos was the passenger in the car. Simultaneously, in another video, he was seen as the passenger with his friend driving, with Ramos in the video holding a clear plastic bag with a dead cat inside that he discarded on the street and spat on the dead cat, while his friend who was driving the car laughed in the background. However, despite being unemployed, he had managed to save money through living with his mother and older sister, and at the end of 2021 he ordered rifle, slings, a red dot sight, shin guards and a body armor carrier that he wore the day of the school massacre, but as he was 17 he was unable to legally buy a gun in Texas. In February 2022 he got into an argument with his mother over turning off the Wi-Fi in her house and was kicked out of her and her boyfriend's house, proceeding to live in the house of his grandmother, 66-year-old Cecilia Gonzalez, who was known as Sally and lived in Uvalde. An older cousin lived with him, and he noted to his cousin that he did not want to live anymore. On the 2nd of April 2022, he sent a direct message to a friend on Instagram stating, "Are you still going to remember me in 50-something days?" His friend responded, "Probably not," with Ramos responding, "All right, we'll see in May." Another friend became concerned for the mental health of Ramos and proposed visiting him in Uvalde, but said that he couldn't visit him until July or August, to which Ramos responded that that was too late. On the 14th of May 2022, he sent a message to a friend on Instagram reading, 10 more days. The friend hauntingly replied, "Are you going to shoot up a school or something?" And Ramos replied, "No, stop asking dumb questions." On the same day, the 2022 Buffalo shooting occurred in Buffalo, New York, at a Tops Friendly Market store, seeing 10 African-American individuals killed and 3 other people injured by 18-year-old Peyron S. Gendron, with the attack live-streamed by Gendron on Twitch. Ramos took a strong interest in the shooting in Buffalo and saved news stories and information on the shooting. On the 16th of May 2022, Ramos turned 18, and on the 17th he purchased a Smith & Wesson semi-automatic rifle from a local gun store, and on the 20th of May 2022 purchased another rifle. His grandfather, 66-year-old Rolando Ramos, would later tell ABC News that he had no idea that his grandson had guns, and if he had known that his grandson, who he described as mentally disturbed, had a gun, he would have reported it. His gun had a Hellfire trigger device which decreases the time required for the trigger of the gun to reset, increasing the possible rate of fire. Additionally, he messaged a friend he met through Yubo on Instagram on the 16th of May, showing a receipt for an AR-15 style rifle purchased through Daniel Defense, an online arms manufacturer based in Savannah, Georgia. Guns purchased through Daniel Defense were also used in the 2017 Las Vegas shooting committed by Stephen Paddock, which left 61 people dead, including including Paddock and 2 victims who would pass away in 2019 and 2020. On the 18th of May 2022, Ramos purchased 1,657 rounds of ammunition, which included 375 rounds of 5.56 NATO ammunition. On the 24th of May 2022 at 11:10 a.m, he had an argument with his grandmother over a phone bill before he shot her in the face with a Daniel Defense DDM-4V7, which is an AR-15 style rifle. Cecilia Gonzalez would survive but was severely wounded, and after seeking help from neighbors, police officers were called in, and she was airlifted to a hospital in San Antonio in a critical condition. On the 31st of May 2022, the aunt of Ramos, Natalia Salazar, launched a GoFundMe to raise $100,000 for Cecilia Gonzalez's hospital and surgery expenses. It has raised $43,968 as of the time of the publishing of this video. During this time, he sent 3 messages on Facebook to a 15-year-old girl from Germany who he had met online prior to the shooting. One noting that he was going to shoot his grandmother, a second to note that he had shot his grandmother, to which the friend replied, "Cool," and a third message sent at 11:13 a.m. noting that he was going to open fire at an elementary school. Meta, which owns Facebook, would later state that the posts were private one-to-one text messages and not discovered until after the shooting took place. Stealing his grandmother's 2008 Ford F-150 truck, Ramos drove to his old elementary school, Robb Elementary School, crashing his grandmother's F-150 truck through a barricade and into a concrete ditch outside Robb Elementary School at 11:28 a.m. He wore a tactical vest for carrying ammunition but did not include ballistic protection or armor insert panels, a backpack and all black clothing, and carried one of 2 Daniel Defense DDM-4V7s into the school, leaving the other one in the crashed truck. He had 7 30-round magazines. He first fired at 2 people at a nearby funeral home and missed them both. At 11:30 a.m, a teacher who saw Ramos called 911 with an Uvalde police officer calling the U.S. Marshals Service requesting assistance. The teacher then entered the school through its west entrance door and shut it. However, they could not lock the door as it could only be locked from the outside, with Ramos eventually entering through this unlocked door. According to police, Ramos entered the elementary school unobstructed. At 11:31 a.m, Ramos initiated gunfire with some bullets penetrating classroom windows. At 11:32 a.m, a Facebook post from the school revealed that a shooting was taking place at Robb Elementary School. However, Ramos did not enter the school through its west-facing entrance door until 11:33 a.m. However, Robb Elementary School was not placed into lockdown until 11:43 a.m. in response to gunshots heard in the facility. There was a lack of preparations, with Jasmine Cazares, whose 9-year-old sister, Jacqueline Cazares, was killed in the shooting, stating that no one took practice lockdown seriously at Robb Elementary School until that day. Ramos walked down 2 short hallways and then entered classroom 112, connected to his old classroom 111. 48-year-old teacher Irma Linda Garcia, who taught 4th grade, attempted to lock the door to the classroom, but Ramos managed to get in, stating "good night," shot her and killed her. Entering the classroom, he's told students, "You're all going to die." Many students, including 11-year-old Mia Cerillo, played dead, smearing herself with the blood from one of her dead classmates. At 11:35 a.m, 3 UPD officers with 2 rifles entered the school from its west entrance door. At 8 seconds later were followed by another 3 UPD officers and 1 UCISD officer. At 11:36 a.m, UCISD Chief Pedro Arredondo plus another UCISD officer and 2 UPD officers entered the school through its south entrance door. However, what was seen from Uvalde Police was, according to a report by the Committee of State Legislators released on the 17th of July 2022, indicative of systemic failures by authorities. The report showed a lack of leadership despite a robust police presence. Ramos was able to be inside the classroom for over an hour, while armed police remained outside the classroom and building. A sign of a failure was a responding officer shouting to students, "Yell if you need help." One girl in the adjoining classroom yelled help, and Ramos entered the classroom and shot her. UCISD officers were unable to establish negotiations with Ramos during the shooting. 2 officers were injured when Ramos returned fire at 11:37 a.m, with both officers grazed by bullets. Arnulfo Reyes, a teacher in classroom 111, told his students to get under the table and act like you're dead. Ramos entered his old classroom, room 111, shot Reyes, wounding him with multiple gunshot wounds, and shot around the classroom with 11 students dying. Around 15 minutes after the shooting began, Ramos approached classroom 109's door, which was locked, shot through the door's glass window, and struck a student and teacher before leaving. He then returned to the corridor around classes 111 and 112. A total of 376 law enforcement officers, including 150 U.S. Border Patrol agents and 91 state police officers, arrived in Uvalde during the shooting. However, no effort was made to breach the classroom where Ramos was located, according to the Texas Department of Public Safety. Police cordoned the school, with concerned parents gathering and pleading for officers to enter the building, and when officers refused to, parents offered to enter the school themselves to protect their children and take them out. Police began using tasers on parents who did not comply, including pinning one parent to the ground, and an officer pepper sprayed a parent trying to get to their child in the school, and an officer tackled the father of another student to the ground. When a parent approached a bus to get their child, the police tasered the parent. A mother of 2 students was placed in handcuffs by officers while attempting to enter the school. When released, she jumped the fence to the school, entered inside, and retrieved her children. Parents asked officers why they weren't entering to save their kids, with an officer replying, "Because I'm having to deal with you." With DPS agents not allowed in the school, confusion reigned supreme, with a DPS special agent stating at 11:58 a.m, "If there's kids in there, we need to go in there," to which a DPS special agent replied, "Whoever is in charge will determine that." One of the main reasons DPS special agents didn't enter Robb Elementary School is because Arredondo was treating the situation as a barricaded subject rather than an active shooter, leading 19 law enforcement officers to gather in the hallway to the classrooms at 12:03 p.m, but they did not enter the classrooms Ramos was in, 111 and 112. Indeed, on the 10th of June 2022, Arredondo stated to CBS News that he did not know that he was the incident commander, and despite calls coming from petrified students on their cell phones to 911, Arredondo believed that no more lives were at risk, and he wanted more equipment and officers before conducting a tactical breach. At 12:10 p.m, United States Marshal Services arrived at the school and at 12:17 p.m. tweeted that there was an active shooter in Robb Elementary School. A United States Border Patrol tactical agent whose wife taught at the school received a text message from his wife informing him that there was an active shooter at the school. He arrived at the school with a shotgun that his barber had lent him 1 hour after first responders had arrived, and he began evacuating children but did not enter the school. At 12:46 p.m, Arredondo stated, "If y'all are ready to do it, you do it, but you should distract him out that window," referring to Ramos. At 12:50 p.m, off-duty Border Patrol officers used a janitor's master's key to unlock the door that Ramos had locked and entered classroom 112. Bypassing UCISD officers, Ramos was hidden in a closet in classroom 112. He kicked open the door and started a shootout with the off-duty Border Patrol officers before they killed him. In total, Ramos shot 19 kids and 2 teachers, including Garcia, with the other teacher being 4th grade teacher 44-year-old Eva Mireles. The students were all 4th grade students and were 9-year-old Jacqueline Jalen Cazares, 9-year-old Eliana Ariña Garcia, 10-year-old Nevea Elisa Bravo, 10-year-old McKenna Lee Elrod, 10-year-old Jose Manuel Flores Jr., 10-year-old Uziaya Sergio Garcia, 10-year-old Amire Joe Garza, 10-year-old Xavier James Lopez, 10-year-old Jayce Carmelo Luevanos, 10-year-old Tess Maria Mata, 10-year-old Alifa Haven Ramirez, 10-year-old Annabel Guadalupe Rodriguez, 10-year-old Maite Juliana Rodriguez, 10-year-old Alexandra Anilla Rubio, 10-year-old Jalia Nicole Silguero, 10-year-old Eliana Cruz Torres, 10-year-old Rogelio Fernandez Torres, 11-year-old Laila Maria Salazar, and 11-year-old Miranda Gail Mafis. Many, including Migueles, died in the ambulance on the way to Uvalde Memorial Hospital. Some parents had to wait until late in the evening for confirmation of their children's death due to DNA identifications. Besides the 2 police officers and the grandmother of Ramos, a further 15 people were injured. At around 2 p.m, parents were informed that they could pick their kids up from Robb Elementary School, and the UCISD superintendent, Hull Harrell, announced in a letter to parents that the school year had concluded for the entire district, including the planned graduation ceremony. 2 days after the shooting, Joe Garcia, the husband of Irma Garcia, died from a heart attack while attending a memorial to the shooting, with the heart attack, according to his family, linked to the murder of his wife. While Governor Greg Abbott, who is a bit of a bloody idiot, initially complimented law enforcement for their response, public and government anger against law enforcement quickly ensued, primarily due to the fact that the police were so slow to respond and did not enter the classroom and arrested and targeted parents outside the school, with a 77-minute video of Ramos from hallway cameras in the school, as well as an officer's body-worn camera released, showing an armed Ramos walking freely between classrooms and murdering innocent children. When a CNN journalist visited UCISD headquarters where Arredondo was based, the journalist was threatened to be charged with criminal trespassing, while a San Antonio Express News journalist was told by district officials that the headquarters are private property and was asked to leave. On the 3rd of June 2022, UCISD's board held a meeting and decided not to take any disciplinary action against Arredondo, but on the 22nd of June he was put on administrative leave, on which he currently remains as of the publishing of this video. On the 2nd of July 2022, he resigned from his post on the Uvalde City Council, having been elected to the council on the 7th of May 2022. On the 21st of July 2022, Superintendent Harrell recommended the firing of Arredondo as police chief. However, as of a recording of this video, this is yet to come to fruition. Much anger was also directed towards Abbott, who gave conflicting and inaccurate information. See, told you all he was a bloody idiot. On the 24th of May, Abbott said that Ramos had used a handgun and possibly a rifle, which was completely inaccurate, and the next day he said that Ramos had only used one rifle. Completely inaccurate. Indeed, it was Abbott who had reduced mental health services in Texas and expanded gun access to 18-year-olds in Texas. During a press conference on the 25th of May 2022, Democratic candidate for the governor of Texas, Beto O'Rourke, called out Abbott for his inaction after the school shooting, yelling, "You are doing nothing," and "This is on you," and "This is totally predictable when you choose not to do anything." On the 14th of July 2022, while interviewed by MSNBC, O'Rourke chastised Abbott for his lack of action on gun control following the school shooting. On the 3rd of June 2022, UCISD's board held a meeting and decided that the Robb Elementary School building would no longer be used as a school, with students and staff moving to a new campus, with Superintendent Harrell announcing that the school would never be reopened. On the 21st of June, Mayor of Uvalde, Don McLaughlin, announced that the school would be demolished. On the 25th of June 2022, Uvalde High School held their graduation ceremony. 21 Uvalde Strong placards represented the 21 victims of the shooting, with class valedictorian Abigail Cohn stating in her address, "Love the people in your life while you have them, because you don't know what the future holds for anyone. Our community has definitely learned about the unexpected. Something that should never happen happened. Our lives have been altered, but we still stand together as a community." She then read off the names of the victims of the shooting, with Cohn later stating, "I would like to include these children of Robb Elementary as honorary members of the class of 2022 family." This was met with thunderous applause. On the 28th of June 2022, Cecilia Gonzalez was released from hospital. In response to the shooting, President Joe Biden ordered that all flags on federal buildings be flown at half-mast, and stated in a speech on the day of the shooting, "These kinds of mass shootings never happen with the kind of frequency they happen in America. Why? Why are we willing to live with this carnage?" President Biden also noted that he was sick and tired of mass shootings. "We have to act," and called for common sense on gun laws. Additionally, the shooting was condemned by former Presidents Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, and Donald Trump, with Senator for Texas, Republican Ted Cruz, calling the shooting yet another act of evil and mass murder, offering prayers to the families and children affected. However, Senator Ted Cruz faced criticism for the shooting and his lack of support for gun law reform, and was asked by Sky News journalists as to why these shootings only occur in the United States of America and why nothing was done to change gun law reform within the United States of America. Republican Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin faced criticism for blaming the shooting on wokeness, critical race theory, and liberal indoctrination. I'm really not too sure how those are correlated with a mass shooting, but okay. Mexican consul Ismael Naveja travelled to Uvalde on the day of the shooting and provided consular assistance for Mexican citizens, with President of Mexico Andrés Manuel López Obrador stating, "Just look at the surnames, they are children, grandchildren of Mexicans. It hurts us a lot." The shooting was condemned by now former United Kingdom Prime Minister Boris Johnson, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, French Prime Minister Emmanuel Macron, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, as well as UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and Pope Francis. President Biden asked when the United States of America would start to stand up to the gun lobby. However, his lack of a concrete plan for gun control attracted controversy from gun control activists, while Governor Abbott said the tougher gun regulations were, and I quote, "not a real solution." Seriously, if you live in Texas, please vote this buffoon out on the 8th of November 2022 in the Texas gubernatorial election. In lieu of gun reform, Senate Republicans called for increasing security presence in schools, limiting entryways into schools, and arming teachers and other school officials. The NRA drew significant criticism following the shooting, and Daniel Defense was met with criticism on social media following the shooting. During the NRA-ILA's annual leadership forum on the 27th of May held in Houston, Texas, former President Donald Trump and Senator Cruz blamed mass shootings without specifying the Robb Elementary shooting on cultural sickness manifesting from fatherless children and a link between violence and video games. They both advocated for arming teachers and redesigning schools to only have one entrance and exit. So what manifested from this shooting and tragedy on innocent kiddies in terms of legislative action? Well, you'll be pleased to know that there was a hell of a lot of action in Canada. On the 26th of May 2022, Prime Minister of Canada Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party of Canada proposed new firearm regulation, and on the 4th of June, the handgun market was frozen in light of a review by the Canadian Parliament with a mandatory buyback of some rifles. As of the publishing of this video, this review by the Canadian Parliament is still underway. In the state of New York, in response to the shooting, the age for buying semi-automatic weapons was raised from 18 to 21. Nationally, the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act was signed into law by President Joe Biden, which included extended background checks for gun purchasers under the age of 21, clarification of federal firearms license requirements, funding for state red flag laws and crisis intervention programs, as well as increased criminalization of arms trafficking. While this law could be seen as lacklustre in response to such a tragedy upon innocent elementary school children, it was the most significant federal gun reform legislation since the Brady Bill of 1993. But what the hell motivated Ramos in killing 21 people and committing the third deadliest school shooting in the United States of America and the fifth deadliest shooting in the history of Texas? Well, we will probably never know. His mother, Adriana Martinez, said that she had no explanation for her son's actions, but told CNN that he had his reasons for doing what he did, and please don't judge him. I only want the innocent children who died to forgive me. Footage released by Telemundo showed Adriana Martinez on the 20th of July 2022 being confronted in public in Uvalde by relatives of victim Amiere Joe Garza, with relatives stating, "What reasons did he have? Because he was pissed off at you? Because you destroyed him?" And another family member of Garza stated, "What reasons did he have to kill 21? An emotional Martinez responded, "I don't know," and also stated, "I know my son was a coward. You don't think I don't know that? I know. You don't think I'm carrying all that with me? You don't think I don't know? I know, and I'm sorry." However, Martinez also responded, "You have no right to judge my son. May God forgive you all." His father apologised and in an interview with the Daily Beast said, "I just want the people to know, I'm sorry man. What my son did, he should have just killed me, you know, instead of doing something like that." However, the ultimate motive of Ramos, at least at the moment, remains a mystery. Thank you for watching. Please do yourself a favour and hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to inform yourself of when new videos come out. Also, why not hit that like button and leave a nice comment? It helps more than you know and your support is truly appreciated. Until next time, stay awesome, stay classy, be kind to everyone you meet, have an amazing day, and remember that truth is always more interesting than fiction.